Hello, welcome to Level Up Finance, where we talk about money, mindset on the road to get millions. And on this episode, I like to talk about savings, how savings could save your life. Check it out. American saving statistics. All right. Americans have more than $1.2 trillion in savings. That sounds good, right? 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. The average household savings in America are $16,420. Sounds good. 54.29% of those ages 45 to 54 have no savings. 22% of Americans have less than $5,000 for retirement. Less than $5,000 for retirement. I gotta say it one more time. Less than $5,000 for retirement. The U.S. has a retirement saving deficit of $4.3 trillion. This is the typical American. All right, let me see. Americans need to do better. But if you listening to the Level Up Finance, you're not the typical American. We don't want to be like this. Okay? This is all the stats, and this really jumped out at me. 23% of Americans can't afford to spend $100 in an emergency situation. In case of emergency, close to half of American adults won't be able to pull out $500. What's even more worrying is almost a quarter of Americans wouldn't be able to spend $100 in a case of an unforeseen event. Wow. That's crazy. 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in a savings account. Whew. More than 2/3 of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings. The majority of those with less than $1,000 in savings have no savings at all. Around 45% of adults Americans are unable to save any money in 2019. I mean, I think 2020 got to be worse. Women are less likely to have under $1,000 in savings. That's great. I mean, look at this, man. This is really bad. This is really bad. Now I'm gonna explain why saving could save your life. Let me tell you my story. I believe it was like 2016, 2015. I don't know the exact year. I had foot surgery. I had something underneath my foot. It's such a long name. Forgot the name of it. Plantar fasciitis. I had plantar fasciitis. I had it for a couple of years. It's starting to bother me a lot. I got surgery that summer, August that summer. The doctor said it was supposed to take 2 weeks to heal. Everything should be all good. Well, it didn't take 2 weeks to heal. All right, and I have long and short-term disability at my job. So I'm like, okay, 2 weeks, I get paid. You don't get paid the full amount, of course, but you get paid nevertheless. And at that time, I already had my two family. I had moved out of my two family to move with a girl, somebody at a time. All right. And so I was living with her. She had to pay rent and everything like that. So I was going to help out while I was there. So I was getting short-term disability. And in 2 weeks, my foot was still swollen, still hurt. I'm still on crutches. I still can't be mobile. And I still had a car I had to pay for. I still had, expenses like my cell phone bill. I still had things going on. I had to put gas in my car. I had to pay insurance and stuff. I had to help out. Of course, I don't want to be one of those that just be there and don't help out. So in the second week, I'm getting no money. The third week, I'm getting no money. So I had to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork and stuff like that for me to, be considered for more short-term disability money. So 3 weeks turned into 4, 4 weeks turned into 5. They wouldn't get back. The doctor went on vacation. The staff wasn't filling out the paperwork. I keep calling and calling. Nothing's going on. I'm not getting paid. I had a lot of responsibilities. I mean, I had the house, but the house was paying for the house. So the leftover cash flow was my money, but I didn't have enough money to take care of all my credit card bills and things of that nature. So I had loans, personal loans and things too. And I just said, you know what, I can't pay it. I'm not getting no money. So I stopped paying all my credit cards, stopped paying all my personal loans. 3 months later, I went back to work. This was August. I went back to work, November, like almost around Thanksgiving time, I remember. So I wasn't working all that time. All my bills went basically belly up. I just let it go because I didn't have enough money with the cash flow to take care of everything. So I was just like, man, if I had savings, I could still pay my bills. And to this day, I would have immaculate credit because at that time I had perfect credit. The last thing I wanted to do was mess up my credit, but I had to pay my mortgage. You know, if I didn't pay my mortgage, I probably would have been able to pay my credit card bill. But if I didn't pay my mortgage, I still would have been looking bad because I would have had a bunch of late payments on my credit report. So either way, it was going to be a lose-lose. It was so bad I had to borrow money all the time from somebody. Borrow money, borrow money. Then when I got money from the house, I used to pay them, the money. And I always was negative basically all the time. So this was going on for 3 months. All my bills was belly up. My credit was destroyed. And this was around 2015, 2016, and it's 2021. And 2020, I started on a journey to fixing my credit. So based off of one thing I did, which was not save 3 months, 4 months, 6 months worth of, expenses, it destroyed my credit for years and years to come. And I just was taking care of all these things last year in 2020 because I was in a position to save money to take care of old debt and, do settlements and things of that nature, put money up for secured loans, secured credit cards. So my point is, if I had savings, none of that would have happened. I would have still been paying my bills like normal. I would have went back to work and just had to catch back up with my savings, but I would have had an emergency fund, a long-term emergency fund. So if you're not going to have a short-term emergency fund or a family operating account, please get a 3 months to 6 month savings. I mean, it's not that easy, especially if your bill is like $1,500 a month. You have to save in 3 months, that's $4,500. In a whole year, that's pretty, big. But if that should be a mission. Save up at least 6 months worth of emergency. Because after you save that money, you don't need to save any more money. You can start investing your money and then take care of all your debt. That's why you shouldn't even have that much debt to begin with. Because if any big things happen in your life, you lose your job, you get sick, you can't work, your job closed down, some crazy thing happen, at least you're covered. For a couple of months, and you can live, you can pay your rent, you can pay your car note, you can pay whatever you got as bills and your cell phone bills and not really worry about it. Because if I did that, I would have been golden right now. I wouldn't have been trying to fix nothing. I would have been able to do the big boy moves I plan on doing later on this year already, last year, So it just, it mess up your opportunities to do certain things that you could do if your credit was okay. So save money to save your life. And then we just seen the stats. People don't have money for retirement. People don't have $1,000 to pull out their bank account. People don't even have $100 for emergency. And emergencies happen all the time. You get something in the mail like, you gotta pay your taxes for your car. Like in Connecticut, we gotta pay car taxes, and it comes twice or once a year. It seems like twice a year. And you have to pay that. It's like a stupid bill that you don't like to pay. That comes up. Your tires, something might happen to one of your tires, you gotta fix that. Something might happen to something might happen to your car, period. You gotta give it a tune up, the battery goes, the alternator goes, something happens with your car, you gotta pay for it. You know, you have to go to the dentist and pay, you know, something. You gotta go to the doctor and pay co-pays. Things happen. You always need extra money. So to save money to save your life. Because if you don't have money, you're gonna let a lot of things go bad, like your teeth. If you have a cavity and then you don't have the money to just pay for that little fee to do your cavity, which is $120, the cavity gonna get worse and worse and worse, and you're gonna lose that too. Just because you didn't have that little bit of money. That little bit of money, you're gonna need big money to fix that problem. Once your tooth start decaying badly. So you have to always fix the problem before they get worse. And saving money to save your life, because you will have enough money to take care of that. If you got enough money, you could, build up your credit. Like, don't think credit is everything. Credit is not everything. You need money. Because I was living a broke person life at one point. I was basically living off my credit. I had an apartment. I was paying $950 for the rent, and then everything else I was putting on the credit card. Lights, credit card. Gas, credit card. Cable bill, credit card. Everything in the house, credit card. Food, credit card. Everything, credit card. So the only thing I was literally paying for was rent, cash. Everything else, credit card. And I was just making a minimum payment. But it comes due one day. It stacks up, and then you don't have the money to pay for it. Then you got looking at a $5,000 bill. So, save to save your life. 6 months to a year worth of expenses saved up, and you should be golden, because you don't want to be like me. And then when things happen, you don't have the money to pay for it. And if you got great credit, this is more of an incentive for you to save money, because things happen, you will destroy your credit. All right? So save money to save your life. And this is another episode of Level Up Finance. Talk to you on the next one.